Hold on, caller.
Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
Kaz.
John, you have a good Christmas?
You know, it was really good, Kaz.
Did the Jolly Elf visit you?
You know, the elves came, dropped off.
You too?
Yeah, could you hold on a second, please, sir? Hold on 1 second, okay? The Christmas cookie guy came.
Oh, wow.
I hate it.
Good.
Too many. Go ahead, caller. What can we do for you?
Yes, I'm calling about information about the city's qualifications to be a policeman.
Okay.
One of the qualifications is Act 120, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was that always the case? Even back in the 1970s, 50s, and 60s?
I don't remember when the state started that, but when they did, it used to be the city paid for that, but they don't any longer. So now the individual has to pay for it.
Police Academy?
Yes. Well, you go to Mercyhurst. I think that's your local one, right, John?
It was Mercyhurst Northeast.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Well, it's Mercyhurst now. So what they do now is everybody trains there, and then they get put on there's like a unified list.
50s and 60s.
Well, back then I don't know if they had 120 back in the 60s, but they always had some form of police academy or requirements. I couldn't tell you when 120 started.
Probably back in the 70s, it was probably whoever Lou Tulio wanted to have a job, right?
Well, 120 is a state mandate.
I know, but I doubt they had it back then.
Well, the police academy started when 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it is,
Right.
now that everything's organized more, everything's more state mandated.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so is there like a quota? Okay, for like tickets and lying on the stand that cops have to do to help the DA and the judges put innocent people in prison? Because a lot of cops do that, and it's sanctioned by the state and feds. Cops to lie on the stand and fake documentation.
I'm not aware of any quota. Are you?
A lying quota?
Cops lying on the stand, and the cops are faking documentation and making stuff up about innocent black people and innocent white people.
Not everybody lies on the stand. I mean, society is made up of many people.
It's all sanctioned when the cops lie on the stand. Because under federal law, the cops are allowed to lie to you. Yes or no?
No, they're not allowed to lie. They're liable.
Nobody's allowed to lie.
Nobody's allowed to lie. If you get caught,
And every day.
well, you got to prove it though.
Yes.
Can you prove it?
What, cops lie every day? Yeah.
Well, if you can prove it, then file charges. I mean, that's the only way it's going to happen. You have to file charges.
See, everyone's afraid of the police. See, everyone believes the police is their friend, but the police is not your friend.
Well, that's not true. I know many policemen.
Yeah.
I would trust them.
Yeah,
There's some I wouldn't trust, but that's true of anybody anywhere.
If you have a history with them...
Who? Who's a good cop? Who's a bad cop?
Oh, come on.
Well, I'm not going to go names on here, but it's just like when I was in the Army. There were good soldiers and bad soldiers.
I was in the Army, too.
Yeah, what, did you have bad people in there?
Well, yes.
Did you have some good ones? Were you good? Let me ask you a question. Were you a good soldier?
Yes, I was. I'm a captain.
Well, there you go. You just broke the bubble now. If you were good, there had to be other guys that were good.
No, not really. Okay, I'm talking about the cops.
Not really. What army were you in?
I was in the U.S. Army.
You weren't in my army if there weren't good guys in there, because we had some very good soldiers.
I don't know about you. I'm talking about myself.
I know about me. I was a sergeant.
Yeah.
I earned my pay, okay?
He was a captain.
Oh, the cops lying on the stand. Okay, does it go on?
Well, you got to prove it. If you know they're lying, then take them to court.
That's where lawyers come in.
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay, the DAs and judges are all sanctioned. Okay, they give the cops sanctions abilities, okay, to do whatever they want.
I don't know. I see all the time where policemen get...
like who?
Well, it's on the national news. Watch it.
He's a very...
Yeah, these guys.
Why would you call here and, You do this every week. You make statements like
Give me a
you
name.
make blanket statements.
In fact, I'm kind of mad at you because right now I'm looking at that desk
With the
there's
DA,
nobody
the
volunteering.
judges,
and we got a volunteer desk open over there
You
for
watch
that.
too much TV.
cops lie. Okay,
No,
it's a game. It's
I
about
think-
making money.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Hey, I mean, geez, my man, come call with something
Yeah.
realistic.
If he was a captain,
Captain, okay. Captain Crunch. I mean, seriously?
I mean, I served under some good soldiers. I know some very good
I
police.
mean, why would you? I mean, why?
You know, society, John, is made up of many things.
Yeah,
There's
for
good
sure.
people and bad people.
And they all call here.
But I mean, to say everybody is bad, that's like wow.
Oh, here
you know.
comes somebody can't come in that door.
Yeah.
It's locked. That's a good thing. Good thing we keep that door locked. You never know who's rolling in here.
But
So, how was your Christmas, Cass?
well, all the kids were up there, so that was good.
I know we had you know, I'm glad you had the crew in there. I hung out with the kids.
That's very unusual, you know, when it happens, it's a great moment.
When the Cas crew gets together.
Yeah. But you know, it's sad when they all leave then.
I know. Go ahead, caller.
Hello? When is the next city council meeting?
That's always the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday. So that would be, let's see if I got my calendar here.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, see, there's January
There
there.
you go. Mike's got some information for you. Mike's on top of it.
What do you say?
It's gonna be on Monday because Wednesday's New Year's Day.
Okay.
You know, Mike.
Well, that's because we get sworn in too on the 6th, so.
Yeah, Mike's on top of it. I tell you what.
So we will not have a show, correct, Mike? We will not have a show next Monday.
Well,
Yeah, that makes sense.
next Monday and you know.
Yeah, so normally, sir, it'd be the 8th, but because of the holiday, I mean, it would have been the 1st, but because of the holidays, they're moving it to the 6th.
Oh, all the way back to Monday.
Yeah, the 1st is New Year's, so.
We gotta swear. They gotta swear in some new people. Kaz is being sworn.
I would have thought it would have been Thursday, but it's not.
No, I think that, well, by law too, we have to swear everybody in on the first Monday that's available.
When do you officially,
6th,
I mean, sign out of this position?
6th.
Are the entire council sworn in?
No, just any newcomers, but.
Oh,
but-
okay.
But since you replace half a council every 2 years, you have to, the swearing in has to be the first Monday by state law. So that, it only makes sense then to have a meeting.
Oh, so it'll be in the morning?
Yes,
Oh, 9 a.m.?
I think it is. I get
I
it.
think they vary. No. They put everybody in here at once, and then you guys all take turns, don't you?
Yeah, they take, so everybody gets sworn in at like early in the,
Okay, they're gonna be here till 5.
when's the next meeting after that, Mike? Would it be the 15th then, or are they gonna drop it? It goes to the 15th then?
Okay. And you'll be sworn in on the 6th also?
Yeah, you have to by law, that's what they want.
And then at that meeting, they'll also open up the applications for the next city councilman to take your spot?
I would imagine that's what they'll do, yes.
Okay.
Shortly thereafter.
And then you still hope to be able to have Taxpayer Hotline on the 13th?
Well, that's my hope.
Okay.
You know, unless I get into some jam, but John and I are planning to be here. Well, John enjoys it too.
And you've already, you're pretty familiar with how the treasurer's office works?
Well, over the years, I've watched it a little bit. I'm not, you know, there's gonna be a learning process, but that's why you have a good staff, a deputy underneath you.
They do have a really good staff.
And I took the exam, I passed that.
Yeah, Sue DeVecchio's done a good job, and that staff over there, they are pretty good.
Okay, well, have a good day, thank you, and
Did you have a good Christmas?
yeah, pretty good, how about you?
That was good. All my kids are up. That's always makes it better.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah, I don't always get them. I get one, maybe two, but rarely do I get all three at one time.
Oh, they all came to Erie?
Well, yeah, sometimes it happens if everything turns out right.
Yeah, good weather, good traveling conditions. That was helpful.
Well, my one daughter had trouble getting home. She didn't get in till like 4 a.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was stuck in Baltimore, but
Oh, plane?
yeah.
We had rain that
Yeah,
day.
2 of them drove and one flew.
It was nice here, but it was crappy weather around the other country, well, other parts of
Yeah,
it.
she has to head south, so she ran into some.
Yeah, right.
The other ones, well, I got one in the Midwest and one out far east.
I got 2 kids, but they're both local, so that's the one plus.
Yeah, it's not like the old days when everybody lived in town here, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a happy decade. Happy New Year, happy new decade.
Well, John's gonna celebrate for me, I think, aren't you?
I don't know. I gotta try to celebrate for myself. I'm not much. I'm getting a little too old to celebrate too much, Ken.
Yeah, don't hit that happy sauce too
I
much.
mean, if I'm not in bed at a certain time, I get cranky. You know?
Yep.
All right, sir. Thanks for calling.
You, take care.
You
Thanks
too.
for all the calls this year,
Yeah.
okay?
Did a good job this year. Thanks for participating.
Thanks for continuing to host it, too.
No problem. We'll talk to you next year.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, yeah, this is the final show of the decade, actually.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And then,
Does the decade end on the 19th? Or yeah, that's right, because they start on the.
yeah.
That was always a debate. Does it end on the 10th?
Right.
Or does it
Nope,
start?
ends this year. Ends tomorrow.
God, when you think how many decades we've been through.
Guys, there's been a lot of decades around here.
It's just a good decade, you know.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
Hi, now that the city and the state have conspired to cheat Erie Cook out of their property, what are they going to do with it?
I mean,
Well, the city didn't have any choice. I would not blame them. The state and federal government, I want to tell you, they look pretty good after all this because they put the pressure on us. I mean, who threatened the city to lose their sewer plant? That wasn't us. That was the Commonwealth.
Talking about, yeah, come on now, you know the city and the state conspired to get it.
Well, this has been going on, sir, for a long,
sir,
long
you'd
time.
be surprised how,
I know they wanted it for a long time. What are they going to do with it now they got it?
Well, you know what the answer to that is. Somebody's gonna pay the cleanup, and it probably won't be the factory.
no, you know.
After they do a phony baloney, inadequate cleanup, do with it.
Well, I mean, none of us know really what happened. I mean, this has gone on a long time, but
Well, they chose to,
No, I know.
if they came up to me and said they're gonna close our sewer plant, and,
What's your best guess what they're going to do with the property?
honestly, I don't think there's really that much you can actually do with it.
no, it'll be like the parking lot at the GAF site. You won't be able to put residential there unless you have a super cleanup, and that, I'd have to guess after, what was that plant there, 130 years?
Just to look down at
Well,
it,
to clean it up, it'd be one hell of an expense.
to put it right where it was.
You know what's going to happen? They'll spend $1 million to do a phony cleanup when in reality, no matter how much money they spend will be adequate because it's been polluted for so many years.
Well, if you look at, are you familiar with the GF site?
Oh yeah.
Well, what they did, they encapsulated that, and then they wound up putting a parking ramp on there because the only thing they could put on there was anything non-residential. They could put a commercial, they could put a parking lot. You can't put housing there where you live 24/7. And the same thing happened with, trying to think of the other, the Hammer Mill.
Andrew,
The Hammer Mill property where you put the Calypso cannabis growing place on there, that's another one. You could put a factory there.
put one of those little dinky cobblestone hotels there.
No, I'm not sure about that.
There's only one drawback to
Well,
that,
I'm not sure if they can put a hotel there.
and that's, we have the plant down there, and the odors coming from that plant
Yeah.
blow that way a lot. So,
Well, the city and the state conspired to get it for some reason. You know they're going to do something with it.
Well, I can tell you what happened in Allentown. You ever been to Allentown or Bethlehem?
I've never been to either one.
Okay, Bethlehem has, they have the Bethlehem Steel Plant, you know, in Allentown, Bethlehem area. It makes the Erie Forge and, look like nothing, and it's probably as big as, the plant is probably, the area is probably, maybe even a little bigger than RGE.
That's really got nothing to do with it here in Erie.
No, but here's the problem, they were stuck there with a environmental issue, just like we have here, where you have that big plant, and they decided, they couldn't afford to tear it down.
The
So-
city, Persinger, and the county and the state all conspired to grab that property, and they just used environmental issues as an excuse. Come on.
It's gonna be expensive, I can tell you that.
They're not gonna spend a tenth of the money people think they are.
Pardon?
So it'll be a big show, but it'll be an inadequate cleanup, but they'll tell everybody what a great job they did.
Well, the cleanup will be, and I'm not a cleanup expert, it'll be,
It'll be marginal.
if they do a total cleanup, it'll be probably very costly.
Very costly.
Because you have to ship that to an approved site, you have to dig down so many feet. More than likely, they'll do what they did at the Hammer Mill or the GF site, which is they'll remove a few feet, they'll encapsulate it, and
Just looking at that thing from the drone view, it's just, oh God, there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. And that's
the thing is, sir, I mean, we can play, you know, who was at fault, but even the company didn't want to go along with the issues.
I mean, if people think there's some sinister plan that,
The state got involved and made it so expensive for it to get cut that water out of there.
But you have the feds too. I mean, the feds are involved.
well, they've been, from what I understand, I mean, and I've read, they just decide to pay the fines rather than do what they need to do to come into compliance. It was,
I'm kind of curious to see how quickly Persinger's foundation is going to get a hold of that land.
I don't think that's
no,
part of their
that's
area.
not even in their designated area.
If you have to worry about anybody, it'll be the Port Authority, probably.
Yeah,
You know Persinger's going to expand the college, the Gannon, I should say, and Hamilton.
Yeah, but they'll stay downtown. I think the one you have to worry about would be, if anybody would look at it, it'd be the Port Authority, probably. Or what's that other group, the one that took over Hammer Mill?
You know, I don't
Sam
care
Rocks.
really what they do with it, because as soon as possible, I'm getting the hell out of here. This is a dying place.
Well,
you know, actually, sir,
we hope not, but
I'd say 5 to 10 years ago, I might agree with you, but I think we have some people that are doing some good things, and actually, I think we're on an upswing. We just have to find a niche, and we all have to get on the same page. But
This place is dying. It might as well just roll up the streets. No?
But even if you're right and the state did do this, I mean, what is the city supposed to do? You can't shut down the sewer plant.
I understand.
I mean, you know,
Persinger's going to get a hold of it, you know?
I don't think, I think it'll be more the Port Authority or that Erie, that group that's not the one you're thinking of. The one that used to,
GEIDC or whatever, they're gone.
yeah,
These groups come and go.
Yeah.
They come buy the property.
I would think the Port Authority that might be more their mission.
What they do is they come, they buy the property.
Yeah.
And, nobody buys on it, so they have to sell it for pennies on the dollar, and the taxpayers get.
But John's
screwed.
right, because of the prevailing winds,
Happy New Year.
you probably won't see any development east of the, sewer plant.
It's hard to, when that wind comes through there, it's hard to put anything commercially or anything in there.
Yeah. I mean, a business is one thing, but not you know.
Those people that lost their jobs there don't never get good paying jobs
No.
anywhere else in this area.
You know, a lot of people, I'm familiar with, work there. Those people, they worked, but I'll tell you, they got paid, but they worked.
But you
And
do,
that's the unfortunate.
you do
aspect
know,
of it.
sir, that they closed a similar plant in New York State, so apparently New York was in on it too, though.
Recently?
Area
Huh?
Recently?
is going away.
No, the same company?
Oh,
They would always cite the fact that New York State closed it 3-4 years ago.
oh.
And so they were on this path that this company just doesn't want
Yeah,
to,
it's cheaper to pay the fine than to update the equipment.
but New York shut them down too. And I think their plant, if I remember right, is still sitting there.
Yeah, it's in Lackawanna. Was
that where it was?
He's not up there. He's here and here. He's going to buy that far up. And he's going to make some money off the deal. I know he will.
Who's that? I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Who, Persinger?
He might do it through a proxy. But that's how it's going to go down.
I don't think EDC wants that land.
I don't think, they're, actually, they've been sticking to their scope pretty
And
good.
if you go downtown, they got a lot of buildings.
They got
they're working on them now.
full.
After the state goes through the jumps through a few hoops and spends a few dollars on a Tony Boney cleanup, then the person he'll make.
Yeah, but I think that's more in the bailiwick of the Port Authority. That's in their.
Yeah,
That's in their footprint.
that's a whole that's not a single owner, that's in the footprint of the Port Authority.
Right, they'll be the ones.
Yeah, so that's who Kaz is right, that's who's gonna take the lead.
I think, in fact, they, except for the fact that it's owned by Erie Coke, I'm not sure, I have to look and see how far
That's gonna sit,
they have the right to go so far.
they're gonna just sit there and squatters write that thing for so long.
And the Coke's not going to do it.
Well, I think it's done now because the oven's shut down, right?
And so what they'll do is they'll spend a few dollars on a Tony Boney cleanup and say they did a great job. The state will.
Well, it'll be like the one they put under the airport runway project.
The state will at least try. They'll have inspectors that come in, but you're right. Who knows? Yeah, I can't even really comment on environmental cleanups. I'm not
It'll be like the one at the airport where they cleaned up the runway.
Yeah, but it definitely can't be where anybody could live.
That's why I'm not sure if they can even put a hotel there.
It's too bad that the sewage plant is where it is located, because that whole chunk of property down there would be worth a lot of tax revenue to our city.
Yep.
Oh, but hey, you gotta have it somewhere. All right, thanks for calling, caller.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like I said, I seen the one in Bethlehem, the big steel plant.
Yeah.
What they did, they made it a museum. They actually did. You can walk around it.
Yeah.
They don't want to tangle with it because, you know, John, once they mess with that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you ever seen the Bethlehem plant? It was the biggest steel plant in the United States.
Yeah.
During the war, it built, you had.
Didn't it make some of it into a casino? I thought I saw.
Yeah, actually alongside of it,
Yeah.
but not the actual, what they used some what they called the out offices. Like if, where they had offices and, parts that weren't the actual factory. When you look at the actual steel plant, the blast furnaces,
Yeah.
they left them alone. And the other buildings were kind of being run down, so what they did was, they bought the land, they developed it, they built some new buildings on the site, renovated some of the old ones, but then again, if you had to clean that up, you can only imagine.
Right. Well, it would have to be similar to the GAF.
And that was just small, You're dealing with a plant that's 130 years old. You can only imagine what's in that ground.
Then you could put some more hotels down there.
I don't,
Tax-free.
I'd have to check whether a hotel is a permissible use.
I don't think I just don't know how you can get rid of the smell that goes.
Well, the big problem with any development on that side of town was if you go east of the sewer plant, you got a
You
problem.
have issues. Go ahead, caller.
Think about this for a minute. Gaff was 10 acres and cost what, 10 million? I believe the
And that was
Coke
back a few years, right?
plant, and do the math,
What's the Coke?
88 acres.
Oh God.
And we're dealing with current dollars now too.
Yeah, so, it's when you start looking at the two properties, Gaff was just small in comparison to what they're looking at, out there. And I believe, Kaz, it started to make Coke in 1833.
Yeah, I think it's over 130 years, right?
Oh,
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
When they cleaned the Penlex site, with the Coke, where they had the coal sitting there,
yeah.
was that, I can't remember, was that expensive?
Kaz, I can't remember.
I remember that pile of coal
I
that was
really
there.
can't. You mean when they did away with the steam plants down?
Yeah, when they had that big pile of coal there and all that.
Yeah, I don't remember that, Kaz.
You can only imagine how much is in the ground up there at,
Oh yeah, it's probably a lot deeper than you think.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's had 130 years to soak in with rain and,
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And you know something? And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but while you're doing all that work on that waste treatment plant,
yeah,
maybe somebody should investigate a way to capture some of the, you know, and that's the part that sounds crazy, how to capture some of that, a ventilation system that could maybe capture some of the spin-off from there so that property would have some value. Because, you know, John's right, it's downwind from the sewer plant. I mean, it's just, you know, it's in a bad spot.
yeah.
It's in a very bad spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was telling John, like in Bethlehem and downtown, when they looked at that steel plant, that was a job and a half that they made it a museum. And
I mean, technically, I wish they could, switch locations.
Yeah.
Where the sewer plant was where the coke plant is.
Yeah.
And the coke plant was where the sewer plant is.
but you see, the problem was when they did that, when you go back, well, part of the problem was they explained to us, you know, you had the Mill Creek coming in there and.
You know what, Kaz? It may not even be worth cleaning up.
No, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
well, I told you, in Bethlehem, they left it up.
I mean, they might not be able to get the funding to clean it.
No, they might have to, well, like in Bethlehem, they left it up. I don't know how much they cleaned, John.
Yeah.
But they left the steel plant up, put a walkway around it so you can tour.
Yeah.
The clean spots, you know, where the factory wasn't,
Yeah.
that's where they built their casino.
Well, right now, with the way the state's going, if there's not some type of economic development, like, that's why we got all the money to clean the site down here.
Yeah.
Because it was economic development.
Yeah.
If you can't have any economic development, activities going on over there, they're not gonna give you 100 million, you know, if it's 10 million for 10, and that's 88.
What do you think, Rich? The natural would be for the Port Authority down there, right?
Well, yeah.
And I'm not even sure they want it.
You know, I mean, I don't know if they have the wherewithal to handle something like that, Kaz. I mean,
Well, no, John, that's not gonna be a cheap date, you know, I mean, not John, I mean,
Rich.
that's not gonna be a cheap date.
yeah. Oh, no, that's a big project.
And
I
what are
mean,
you
he
gonna,
gives a perfect example. I mean, if that's 8 or 10, and that's 88.
and here's the thing, the Gaff property was on the west side of town.
Yeah.
You didn't have the same prevailing
And
wind.
it's on the bayfront.
Right,
Yeah.
That over there, they're gonna say you can't put residential there, you can't put commercial there.
I don't even know if you can put a hotel, I don't know, maybe you can, but who'd want, the question is, somebody has to wanna do that.
I mean, here's a suggestion. I don't even know if it's possible, but some type of like,
It can be a park, I think,
no, like we have to do something with the sewage plant.
yeah.
Like some type of structure, like a dome of some. I mean, it's not a dome, not a dome, like a stadium dome.
Yeah.
But something over the top to where the odor can't get out, but there's a certain amount of ventilation. If you were to do that, then that opens up all that property down there.
Well, they do a good job down there, but we toured it, a couple of council people and I, and, you know, we actually floated a bond issue because they needed some basic repairs. But what you're talking about, John, I think if we weren't involved in the war on terrorism, because that takes a lot of federal money away, if we were rebuilding infrastructure, you would have money for those projects.
Like something like, how Family First has the dome over the field. Put a dome like that, something like that similar, which would be pretty cost effective over that.
The only thing is that it's gonna be, cost is gonna be,
But you gotta spend a little to make a lot. You open up that land, and there's a lot of land down there for development.
yeah.
A lot. But like I said, you'd have to spend a little. You'd have to spend a lot because you gotta clean it up.
Oh, yeah. And that's depending how much you wanna clean it.
Listen, you guys, Happy New Year.
You too.
Behave yourselves, and we'll see what next year brings. But I'm gonna let somebody else call in.
Happy decade to you.
And if they don't call back if you want.
Yeah.
All right, see you.
Kaz, this show here,
Yeah.
a lot of these voices that I hear, and some we know, I listen to talk radio in the morning. And a lot of the guys that call those shows call this show. and most of them are pretty knowledgeable about what's going
Well,
on.
a lot of people are knowledgeable, it just, what they don't understand sometimes is there are some little intricacies that, but I think, for the most part,
Yeah,
they know the basics of it.
yeah,
So they know they're in the right ballpark.
right.
But when you get into when you get up here and you sit and you find out that there's all kinds of little things
Yeah,
that they don't tell her,
yeah,
and you find that out as you go along, and like when nobody wants to see that coke plant go out.
no,
And I don't know who threatened who,
nobody wants
but
jobs.
you can't shut down. But you can't shut down the sewer plant.
Those guys, you can't. And you can't, you have to have some type of a balance between our environment and jobs.
But this was a battle that's gone on for,
A long time.
yeah. I mean, we're not talking about, it heated up the last few years, but it's been going on a lot
Well,
longer.
they've
than that.
been just paying, it's cheaper to pay the fines than make the adjustments.
And you can understand that.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, you're on the air.
Yes, I'm calling about the last city council meeting. I didn't get to watch it until this past Friday night. And it was the worst sound system I think I've ever encountered at a city council meeting.
Was it, you mean over the TV?
Yes,
Were you on the computer or the TV? That's important to know. TV?
pardon me?
Were you listening on TV or computer?
TV, 1024 TV.
Okay.
Nobody watches the computer.
A lot of people do.
Do they?
Yeah. Well, I had a complaint that our streaming was kind of bad. Because I have a good friend of mine that, that's what he watches
Yeah.
on.
Can you let me talk?
Yeah, go ahead. We're just,
You still do that. You can't let a caller finish a sentence without you butting in.
well, no, John asked me a
Very
question.
rude.
Go ahead.
That's my fault.
You went to college. You ought to know better than that.
Go ahead. You got to,
My God.
well, go ahead. We're listening.
Look, you couldn't hear anyone virtually. The speaker at the callers, the speakers at the citizens, and then when Winarski was given the awards, well, that was a disaster. I mean, silly Winarski should have known better. The only person really that I could hear was you when you had the sense enough to speak into a microphone when you got your award.
Well, we'll have to see if Mike, maybe there's a problem.
And the rest of the meeting, oh my God, the secretary, that was virtually not. He couldn't hear a word she said.
And she's got the best mic.
Well, and she doesn't speak up. I mean, well, why don't you check the recording and see what happened?
I will, because some of these mics are not the best, but you do have to talk into them. But it could be, I'll talk to Mike in the back when we get done with the show.
No, this system you have must have been installed by Moses.
What is? It's old. You said it right. This is
Actually, they updated it a little bit. That's the
not
story.
these though.
Oh, not those?
Oh, these have been from time memorial.
You guys should go with the lapels.
Exactly. I mean, all the money you have, expenses or whatever, and you want citizens to be listened to, and you want to explain. You have your caucus in a back room now, so citizens don't know really what's going on. So you come out front and do a drama. So
I think the caucuses are open to
Yeah, they're
everybody.
open, but I know what he's saying. I can tell you this, the best mics are the two side desks, those are brand new, and the city clerk has a good mic. The rest of them are debatable. So the new council, I would implore them to probably put some pressure on the city to replace them. We did replace the video stuff up here, but not the audio. We've got new speakers, but these are a little bit,
I mean, I don't know why they just don't give you the right here, and you could talk, and
we talked about it.
maybe even be more cost effective.
you got the right idea.
Then rewiring the whole city hall, just get the lapel.
Oh, he just recently got the hearing impaired stuff fixed, where the people that sit out there can,
Yeah.
put the earphones on.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah, that was out for years. Nobody knew about it.
Okay, Kaz, I'm sorry to see you leaving, but I'm not happy with the new incumbents. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
give him a chance.
Give him a chance, and what I would tell you is make your feelings known. We got some good people on there, and they just, they're gonna need some guidance from the public.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, it's gonna be some very tough decisions are gonna have to be made in the future.
Coming on he was on board when oh my God, that my school director, what the heck was it? Brady or Barker?
Barker.
Barker several years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah. I mean, he had a $245,000 salary. He got a diamond pension.
Boy,
He destroyed the finances of the area school districts, and a guy coming on city council was on board and his number one man.
when you look at how much they make, the mayor, it's well known, he makes $95,000. But we got authority people that make way more than that.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Like the Barber Center people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we know.
Okay, guys. Hey, have a good day.
You
Have a
too.
nice Christmas, what's left of it, and a good holiday.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, well, one thing, when I was president, we tried to upgrade a lot of the stuff here. Because when you looked at it, we didn't even have that screen, the speakers were bad.
I mean, the cameras look updated. The speakers.
Well,
look
some of the
updated.
stuff is getting updated, but it's been a long process.
I mean, I don't know why you guys don't just wear the lapel microphones.
It was a matter of, the room is run by, it's not owned by council, it's owned by, technically it comes under the public works.
Yeah.
Public buildings.
Oh, really?
So council, through their president and the pressure,
Yeah.
can kind of force them and, find some money to put in there. And I would say to the new, the new council, continue to push them to upgrade.
Yeah.
The seats were replaced a number of years ago.
I don't know if we can afford to do that right now. We got a lot of other stuff.
But I think because this room is used a lot,
Yeah.
it really, how much are we talking about audio stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to make anything.
Yeah. Did you see the newspaper yesterday, by any chance? They put out the top 10 stories of 2019.
What was one of them?
McDonald's closing was one of them. They had,
I have to laugh in Erie.
what?
I mean, I like to make fun of my hometown,
What?
but if this was any other town,
Yeah.
a Sonic or a Popeyes opening up or a McDonald's closing down,
Yeah.
shouldn't that be a major story? I mean,
See, our McDonald's played a role in our community, though. I mean, a lot of people.
well, that's true, but I mean, I'd be more concerned about, somebody like, Palacios or Romelo's going down,
Yeah.
I mean, McDonald's come and go and, Popeyes and so does Sonic.
I mean, it's a cheap place to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, but I mean, there's success stories all around here.
You go to Starbucks, you gotta pay.
We got the Tipsy Bean, the Ember and Forge.
For how much?
Yeah, but you know what, John, you know what I found out? Yeah, you can never put your value on other people's value, right? Where one guy is okay going to McDonald's, there's a whole segment of kids and people
Yeah.
that like the coffee shop atmosphere. And, it is a gamble, right? My kids came in and you know what they heard about? Federal Hill.
Yeah.
The smokehouse.
I've heard, yeah, it's good there.
And then they heard about how they're developing that hill.
Yeah.
So the word is spreading.
They shut that down a lot up there.
You mean
Like,
the road?
just shut down, yeah.
But you know what? My kids read that because there's a whole segment of Erie people on the internet that get together.
Yeah.
They reminisce, and
Right.
somebody hears this and somebody hears that. you know,
Yeah,
but I think, you know, look, everything's not for everybody. But I think the nice thing in Erie is that you can still drink coffee cheap, but if you want some,
yeah.
you know, you want the other experience,
Well, they have a curling league over there now.
what?
Curling
Where?
over there at the McDonald's site. Are you gonna join?
Curling rink.
Curling, yeah.
Where's the rink?
I think it goes this way.
Who put the ice out there?
The ice people. I don't know. I don't know.
They just put it up already?
I think so. There's a sign on there.
Well, you know, I can remember when I was in college,
You're like,
they were gonna put a curling rink, they were gonna put one in JMC.
were they?
Well, what they're gonna do is knock out the wall that goes towards Cherry,
Yeah.
extend it out, and put a practice rink in there for, you know, when people are using the rink, other people can like warm up.
Yeah.
And they were gonna extend it to put the, cause curling is big in Cleveland and other places.
Yeah.
Well, there was a group of people that, you know, when they moved here to Erie and they started a hockey program,
Right.
curling was a natural, but we never did it.
I've had people question me and say, why the hell would you put a curling
Because, you know what?
league there?
Just like bowling, my son has a friend that they have curling matches. Of course, you know, with curling comes you know, beverage.
Yeah.
So they go out
No,
there.
see, now if that was the case, you should put bocce in there.
Well,
That's where you
I
get.
mean, we got bocce courts, right?
Yeah, we got that.
I'm kind of surprised that up at Family First, they didn't put one.
They're behind Erie's. I
How
don't
about
know
this
why.
one?
I mean, if they have a,
We used to
Curling
have,
thing
we
there?
used to have outdoor volleyball courts, beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Down to Bayfront.
I wish they would put.
We took them out, you know.
Maybe put some like an ice rink or skating or something
Nick Scott,
down there.
well, he said one of his long-range plans was to put an ice rink on his property. Rick Filippi, when he was mayor, wanted to put one in front of the convention center,
Yeah.
you know, in that,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
There's plans now that I've heard talk, that, you know, downtown district is looking at that.
Yeah.
Like in Pittsburgh, what they do, they just take a fountain and they put ice on it.
You like the one we have over there.
Well, that's a little small.
Yeah, I was
You
just
could do
gonna
it,
say
but
that.
they have
Yeah.
one in PPG Place where they put a warming station. Chicago has one downtown.
I mean, that,
They have a roller rink in summer and an ice rink in winter.
I was just surprised to see curling though. I'm like, what?
Well, you know what? Don't laugh. I mean, it's
I'm not,
I mean, it's up and
I'm
coming.
not hating on the curling.
But I'm surprised that somewhere in this town, we used to flood like Burton and different places and have ice rinks. You want to come up? Kathy, want to come up? We used to have, the city used to flood different parks
I know.
and the kids would skate on them. I mean, I think that'd be a great idea.
That would be something for the parks, yeah.
It'd be something for the downtown improvement district to come
I'm
up
trying
with.
to think. Coke was one of the stories of the year. What else was there? I don't think you can get out that way, Kat. That's that. Believe me, we're locked. You're stuck.
Where's your key?
911. Please report to city council chambers.
You should come up here while you're here. Oh, you want to sit up here and take some questions?
15 minutes.
Well,
That's honestly, that's the best time. How are you, dear?
Good.
hey,
Nice to
you
see
might as well get some of the blame, right?
Of course.
How was your Christmas? Good.
Christmas was good. It goes by way too quickly.
Yeah, I told John, all my kids are up here, and there's like this tremendous, you know, you're readying everything, then all of a sudden, and then just as fast, you blink your eye and they're all gone. And you get, I can see why people get depressed. I really can.
Oh, easy. You know, all the hype and all the buildup, and then everything is over with just like that. We are still in the Christmas season. which
You won't know
those-
that if you went to Tops Market the other day. The day after Christmas, they're playing Brandy by Looking Glass.
more Christmas music.
No, I said, where's the Christmas
Well,
music?
but Classy 100 was playing it still. So day after Christmas.
Well, like on Sirius Radio and, come on, Christmas, at least a little Christmas and New Year.
See, I have a little Russian Orthodox background.
Little Christmas.
Yeah, so technically it's not Christmas for a lot of people in the city.
Well, we used to always go at least past New Year's, that was.
Yeah.
The last day of Hanukkah was yesterday.
Oh, was it?
The
My
last-
son-in-law and my daughter-in-law, they had the little candle in my house. I had never seen, so they did a little service on my counter.
Really?
Yeah, it's very, well, they do that, they carry these miniature ones. Put little candles in there.
See, I didn't know you had that in the,
Oh, I got
got a little bit of everything.
United Nations in my,
You got the Muslims, you got a little Hanukkah.
I don't know what I got. I mean, I got everybody.
All right.
I have a question for
Yeah.
you, Mr. Kwiatkowski.
Yes,
Are you going to be continuing the taxpayer hotline?
I'd like to. I mean, I'd like to. I think, I did it when I was controller, and
Oh, there you
we can always bring different guests on,
go. Right.
I think you've always offered people the opportunity to come and sit with you.
I have always,
No one else.
it was strange, for years, nobody wanted to come on here because
Yeah.
we don't, what do you call it, sanitize anything?
It's different when you're sitting up here on live TV. You don't know.
I can remember Kathy there when she first took her seat,
Yeah,
and she was like a deer in the headlights.
yeah,
This was like, all of a sudden you're on the big stage,
yeah,
and things happen fast.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you find out that, it's not like when you're sitting out there.
it's a lot easier when like on a live TV show or anything live is a lot.
Well, think of a council meeting where you gotta make,
Oh, for sure.
everybody goes, Wednesday, we struggle, and I think she'll agree, we may argue with each other,
Yeah.
but,
What's debate? That debate.
but that's
is a good
okay,
thing.
because that's how you gotta convince 4 people up here.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, nothing happens,
You could have all the greatest ideas, but unless you can get 3 other people to see things.
I think we're gonna have a good council. I mean, you never know about the newcomers, you have to let them, you don't know where they're gonna come from, but,
Right.
we lost a lot of people this time.
Yeah.
And that happens,
Right.
but I think, you had what, about 3 years?
This will be my 3rd year that we're going.
See, when you
into.
get to,
I was rehired or I was elected with you. That's
when you get to, is that you?
Yeah.
When you get to the 3rd year, you start to feel comfortable.
Yeah. One thing about Kathy that I do know,
What's that?
I serve on a commission. The one thing that I think is important for council people, and not all of them take it
Yeah.
as serious as they should, is their liaison duties.
Well, you know what, if I stressed one thing when I was on council, and I used to get mad at the mayor about this, you have to work through your liaison. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
When you take the time to go to the meeting, I was like very distressed at the parking authority. Was pulling that crap around me, and I'm there every meeting, right? Because I gotta come back and report, and we're sitting there in the dark, not knowing what's going on. I think one of the problems in Erie government, and I would tell Kathy this, because we're made up almost like the federal government. We have a mayor, administrative head, the legislative body, we have a controller and a treasurer, and they're all separate. But everybody thinks if they go to the mayor, we find out about it. We don't sometimes. We don't know what's going on. And council, sometimes that's what the liaisons are supposed to be. Like in the old days, a good mayor and the authorities would call the liaison and say, hey, I want to run this by you.
Well,
What do you think,
Well, Kathy, I mean, this is, you're relatively new. What type of a detriment is it to where, would you agree with Kaz that you don't get the information in enough time to make a?
Well, I think that changed last year, for the better, now that we meet once a month.
And we gotta keep pushing it though, because, what you don't wanna do, she goes to a lot of meetings, okay?
Yeah,
And that wasn't always the case with a lot of liaisons.
yeah,
And just so that people know, like Kathy and every one of us we're chairman of a committee. And under us, we have 2 sub-members.
right,
So if I don't go and Kathy's on mine, she can go.
right,
But any member can go anywhere, but structurally the liaison is like, and so, when you take the time to go, that's important.
It's very important, and I've seen Kathy around, and, I know you go for sure.
Well, I had the airport, and that was that's very important, because the airport is like the window to Erie's development, but you have what,
Water, fire,
yep,
NATO centers.
and see, water is very critical, and she would report to us all the time, but,
It's good to have that because, even though you really don't have any say-so as to what goes on there, at least you're there to provide support or,
well, they'll sound you out, because a lot of things have to come before council, so, no, they'll ask her, they'll say, what do you think?
right,
And then she has to come back and ask us,
right. I think, she's right. I mean, you're both, the learning curve is.
it's amazing, she's gonna be
She'll be a veteran.
well, yeah, this was scary, the fact that outside of Mel and Jimmy, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, Liz and Kathy are,
They're both the same.
they're almost in,
Yeah, right. See, she came on the same time.
it's gonna be a quick learning curve, so they're gonna have to, help the new ones come
Yeah,
around.
right. Well, I mean, it's gonna be challenging and there's a lot of important stuff coming on in the future too, so.
I thought we had a very diverse council. We had people that, they had different views of the city, so that's
Yeah,
always
right.
good.
Yeah, it's always good to have different viewpoints.
And it's good to have debate, because, while Kathy and I may disagree on some things, I don't think we disagree on the major things,
The, airport authority, I know I commend you on the way you're handling that. Have you decided to put anybody
I
on?
reinstated,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, good. I mean, the way Kathy did it was, she asked people in the public to put forth, their history and,
And I do want to say, so many people reached out, and they had excellent resumes and a lot to give. And that was a challenge for me, but I, went through everything and met and, right?
so you went with, what's his last, I'm not familiar, can't remember. What's Dan, do you know?
I remember the name, I'm trying to remember now, jeez. I was just at the Gianelli, was it?
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
I was just at the last meeting, I'm trying to look at the nameplates.
When you guys deal with so many people, I'm terrible with names myself, but if I know faces, but,
Well, with me, I always tried to get somebody that was interested, number one.
Yeah.
Had the time to devote to it.
yeah,
And had something to add that was, like with the airport, you would like to have people that, not that there has to be a pilot, but, if they got some kind of aeronautical experience,
yeah.
so they know the industry.
Well, just reappointing Dan, I mean, the airport's doing a lot of good things out there. I mean, we're expanding flights,
Well, that's interesting, because, there's a lot of things in the work.
yeah,
And people looked at the runway and they go, what a waste of money.
Right.
Well, I guess if you looked at it and you look at raw numbers, you say, yeah, it was a waste. What they don't realize though, is that without the runway, they would have put propeller planes back in. And so we wouldn't have had the jets, and we wouldn't have they're putting a bigger jet in now, is what they're trying to do. But so much of Erie's problem is that it's an industry problem. They're losing pilots because the military is not training as many.
Right.
And that was where they got them from. The airplanes are getting old. You see what happened. They just, put a bunch of them in dry dock. The airlines are cutting back. They're not buying new aircraft. So when they disperse this stuff, who do you think's going to get first crack? It's going to be Chicago, New York, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Not going to be Erie. Erie's not a hub.
right,
It's at the bottom of it's a feeder.
yeah,
So the feeders are gonna get, but I think the airport, they've added flights changed them around. Philadelphia was a bad idea. So now you can go to Atlanta.
Philadelphia, Atlanta's.
I mean Charlotte rather, not Atlanta.
I thought Atlanta too, I thought.
No, they once in a while they had one there, but Charlotte basically.
Yeah.
Although under agenda, they look at something in the New York area, something hopefully in Atlanta,
I mean, Atlanta's a nice,
I mean, you got flights to Chicago, we didn't have many years ago.
I mean, you need Atlanta and Chicago at least. because those are the major hubs.
It would be nice if you could have a connection to Newark or New York City.
Yeah,
They probably wouldn't get we'd get Newark probably.
yeah,
And Atlanta'd be good because if you ever fly, a lot of things go out of Atlanta and Charlotte now.
oh, yeah, for sure.
So I mean, we got Charlotte, which is, I've been to Charlotte, it's a pretty nice airport.
Well, I think it just, people want instant gratification. People want change and then they complain about when something changes, or, they don't realize it
Well,
took
yours
us.
is a tough town, always has been like that.
Yeah, it took us a long time to get where we're at, but, I drive across 12th Street, I see stuff going on in those buildings over
Well, you
there.
know what surprised me? I hadn't been downtown. I mean, Lower State Street in about a week and a half, and I go down there and I go, my son wanted to go, not my son, my son-in-law wanted to go to Ember Forge. So we were down there and I go, what are they doing over there by, Sherlock's? Had the tarp on the front.
Yeah.
Then you went down where the old Horace Greeley building was, where the surplus store was, they had a tarp on there. And I'm going, wow,
Yeah.
I mean, things are happening.
It
And
just-
so,
It's just gotta be done properly.
well, like they said, where McDonald's is, that's gonna be a 2-year project.
Yeah,
You get a 5-story building. Parking authority's working on how they're gonna solve the parking issue. A lot of people are working on, and that's why I say to council, the next, it ain't even gonna be this one. This is about a 20 or 30-year project. If we have the will, Erie didn't go downhill in 2 years. It went downhill in a number of years. It's been going down since the 60s and whatever, so it's gonna to come back. I mean, yeah, we're gonna see some nice things, but once we get into the neighborhoods, that's gonna be a nice slope. I mean, it's gonna have to be a concerted effort.
the new area of attention is the east side now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what,
6th Street up.
I talked to the sisters, I talked to Wally Brown. They're willing to help the people on the east side. If you've seen what they did to the west side,
Did the city hire somebody to run that program? I know they took
they, Kathy?
applications.
It's, no, it's being run,
There's so many organizations that, I think everybody's on the right track, John.
Yeah.
There's plans for park settings down there.
Yeah.
And I think right now, nobody knows what's gonna happen.
Right.
A lot depends on money, and
Many years ago, I was involved in the weed and seed program.
that was a good program,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
was-
dead now, so.
I was the chairman of neighborhood revitalization, and there was other areas that law enforcement,
You know what I remember, John?
and it helped those areas.
I remember Rick Filippi when he was first mayor. I mean, he and I, we disagreed, but we walked down 18th Street. I remember this. It was a weed and seed program.
Yeah,
And this was a statement, we're taking 18th Street back.
right.
And it was all the politicians lined up, all the neighborhood leaders.
Yeah.
And we walked down 18th Street and said, this is all gonna change. And you look, and it has changed. They cleaned up the crime a
Are you
little
talking
bit.
about Little Italy area?
Yeah. And I think that's what's gonna happen on the east side. Of
If
course,
I tell you, Cass, the Lower West Side, when you go down there, they've done a fantastic, that group down there has done a
is
really
that,
good job.
is that best or?
No, the Lower West Side, that's the whole,
Oh.
that's the Bayfront group over there. I think.
our West Bayfront.
Yeah, our West Bay. They have
And you know, what,
Candace
that's what,
Barrows and that
well, that's
group.
what's gonna take is that, you have to have people that live there that are involved. If you don't take control of your neighborhood, it ain't gonna work.
See, they started with the little things, like, lighting, different things like that. And it's really, that whole part of town is really, what they've done is they've maximized tax dollars with their partners and bringing in grant money and used it, it's kind of like, the blighted property. Everybody's working together is what you need to do
Well, sure,
on that side of town too.
I would like to see, we did it with Frontier. And somebody brought this up to me the other day. We got all these parks around town. And I was out of town and I saw how they do it. We probably should have, people, I know there's a woman, a teacher, that would love to she would love to form something behind, Joanna O'Connell.
Yeah.
Those woods,
Right.
things like that need, I thought about, we went to Asbury Woods for light up night. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a good start, right? And I'm thinking, why don't we do this? Why don't we have like Frontier lit up or, the dog park area lit up, eventually, maybe put cross-country skiing in there. Let the neighbors run the park through us.
Well, like the LEAF program out there.
Yeah, I think, when people do that, oh, what'd you think?
Thank you.
You feel good?
Happy New Year to you.
You have anything you want to say?
Thank you for all you do.
That's it?
Thank you for all you did. Council.
Well, it's gonna be your show now, so.
Good luck.
I'm gonna sit over there and watch you once in a while. You'll be okay,
Does
you know
the
that?
treasurer, oh, that's right, the controller and the treasurer comes.
Well,
Don't worry, Kaz, you'll still have to deal with
no, it just, you know what? I'll be respectful that it's their show now.
That's true.
You have to know that, you can have your input, but
You've sat over at that table more than this table.
that's
I think up here, you sat over there more.
it will be okay. We just, we got some tough decisions and
Yeah. Well, all right, Kaz, Kathy's right, we are, I'm sure, past time. So,
We are.
actually,
By a minute ago and said-
it's almost 3:00 now, so we're
Yep.
right on time.
Kathy, thank you for,
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Thank you
See
for
we
having
locked
me.
that door on purpose so you couldn't get out.
Don't worry, you should see how many people try to come and break in here and attack Kaz, but at least we keep them safe. So.
John, see you next year, hopefully.
See you next decade, right? See you in the next decade.
That's scary.
I know. Mike, whenever you're ready, help us out.
I had to ask you a
Good.
question. Somebody asked me.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.